Let's strategize together. Let's hear it from an expert. Join the conversation, it's informative and free. You and me, let's talk some strategy. Now here's your host, Morin-van.
Hey everybody, my name is Morin-van, and today we're going to talk about how to 10x your visibility with an expert from my home country, the Netherlands. But before we do, I want to welcome everybody to another episode of Strategy Talks. If you're here live, let us know in the comment where you're joining us from. If you're watching the replay, put hashtag replay in the comments. And for those of you who listen to Strategy Talks as a podcast, a special shout out welcome to you. So before we get started, I want to do another shout out to our sponsor, Social Insider. They are the intuitive dashboard for social media analytics, reporting, and competitors analysis for brands and agencies. If you need data, you need Social Insider. So without much further ado, I'm going to bring onto the screen with me today, Elisabeth Griffioen, as we would say in Dutch. I don't know, how do you pronounce your name in English?
I'll just say Griffin.
Griffin. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Elisabeth Griffioen. So who is Elisabeth? So she is a video marketing expert, a video maker, script guru, and YouTuber in one. She's already well known amongst entrepreneurs in the Netherlands and has started translating her extensive work into English with a book, The Little Black Book of Video Marketing, available on Amazon, and her English YouTube channel. She's a former TV director who took her experience into making video content for marketing. This ensures high involvement of viewers and great reactions and ROI on videos. She's a trainer and coach and occasionally shoots videos for and with her entrepreneurs. She believes that video, when done well, is key to get well known as an entrepreneur. It gives you big reach, makes you accessible, and gets your acknowledged as an expert, right? Nothing else works as efficient. She specializes in helping entrepreneurs to make videos. They get great ratings, lots of views, and especially really involved viewers. And who doesn't want that, right? Who doesn't want a community? So Elisabeth, welcome.
Thank you. I love your theme song.
Thank you. Yeah, my son wrote, composed, and sang it for me. It's really fun, and sometimes it's a good reminder to myself and my guests. We're talking strategy, right? We have different topics and we talk about different things, but it all comes back to really thinking ahead and making the big picture of what we really want to do. And that's what Strategy Talks is all about. So as a social media expert, it's great to create content, but what is the strategy behind it? So today we're going to talk about Strategy Talks and strategy on 10xing your visibility. And so let's just, think about that, right? Before we do that, and I'm thinking that's the big picture for you, what lessons did you carry with you from TV to social media, especially as it pertains to video?
Yes, I think in television, everything is about ratings and it's about popularity of TV programs. And what I learned there was to attract viewers and keep them hooked until the end, until after the next commercial break even. And that's what I teach my people, because the first thing if entrepreneurs shoot videos, the first thing they start doing is turning on the camera and start talking. But there's a different way to make videos, and that's if you keep the eyes moving. That's what people say. So if you make it change places, if you move around, if you make your story very short and interesting, then you really attract viewers, and you hook people into your video until the end. And at sort of near the end is where the call to action is. So that's where we want people to be.
Right. But you want them to stay to the end, so
Yes.
you have that call to action.
Yeah.
So short videos, I love that. TV is about ratings. So what kind of metric can we put around ratings for a video? What do you look at? So what to you, like if TV, your rating is a 10, I'm assuming that's the highest rating. What is a good rated video on your end? So we're talking to YouTube, right? You're a YouTuber. What gives, how do you measure? What's the data? What are the metrics that you use?
What I love about YouTube is you can measure engagement. There's like, you can just look it up and see the graph. Where did people stop watching? And of course, on YouTube, it's very normal not to make it to the end of the video because we get distracted and stuff. But I've heard like the average is about 40% of viewers get to the end of the video, and it's of course it's different for short videos than for longer videos. But YouTube appreciates if you keep people until the end or as long as possible. So there's a simple number with every video where you can see how long did most people stay, and I'm sort of aiming for 80%.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how long they stay, that's your ranking. If they stay longer. And so then you can start diving into additional data, right? So now you're looking at, okay, these 3 videos, they stayed 80%. What is similar to these 3 videos that I did, right? So you're starting to analyze. This is the strategy part that we want to talk about, because that will help you. The longer people stay, the more your visibility increases, I'm assuming.
This is also a number that people avoid looking at, because it's sort of, well, it confronts you with people leaving, and we really don't want to know that. But if I have a part of my video where I, right in the middle, where I think, oh, I'll have some music and some shots of me walking, where you think, oh, it's nice in the video, but you can see the drop off right away. It also stopped me trying to make jokes in my videos, because I saw people dropping off there as well. So I'm
that's fascinating. People don't like you doing jokes?
No.
So B-roll, maybe not so good. Jokes, not so good.
Well, you have to keep people curious. And somewhere, if you have like 5 seconds of B-roll and music, people are like, well, maybe we'll go somewhere else. So yes, it gets you very strict about scripts and about using shots and about editing.
That's interesting. So let's talk about, just come to mind, props. Like, hey, I'm drinking something, props work, right? I mean, holding up signs, you were saying movements, all of those things help your visibility, help people stay longer, help your videos rank better.
Yeah, even like a sort of boring video. I sometimes take my videos right here, and this, well, it's a bit of a boring background, but I alternate the distance between me and the camera. Oh. So I have a shot like this, and then a wider shot, and so alternating. And
in the same video. Same video. Oh, yes. Okay. So you have the zoom
all
in.
Kinds of tricks. I don't dance, but I do every other kind of trick to keep the attention of my viewers. Yes.
Yeah, I have done when I want to make a point, I have leaned in and really talked to the camera, and then I'm not using the camera; I'm using my body to get close. But I get that. That totally makes sense. So. What are some of the stumbling blocks that entrepreneurs, because this is really who you target, what are some of the stumbling blocks to A, getting started with video, B, being consistent and continuing with video, or C, being successful with video? Because those are all different things.
Oh, keep me. What was A?
A was get started. How do people, what are the stumbling blocks of getting started? What do people tell you? Oh, I don't have the right equipment, or, oh, I'm scared. What are some of the things that you hear?
Well, what people say is I don't have the right equipment. So those are questions I get a lot about. What microphone do I need? What lights do I need? And that's because I made some videos about those, and they are very well watched on YouTube, because lots of people are looking for that. Do you need a selfie stick and stuff like that? But they're really, a lot of people come to me with selfie sticks, microphones, and everything still in the box. Because that wasn't the problem. So I think it's more, people don't know what to talk about. They know so much, and then they're like, yeah, okay, turn on the camera, and now what? So that's where strategy comes in as well.
Okay. So that was the first. How about I forgot what B was. I think it's how to stay consistent, right? So
Yes.
what are the stumbling blocks for staying consistent?
Yeah. Well, then the thing is, if you make one video and then it gets like a big thing, I don't know how that was for you when you started doing videos, and then you're like, oh, it's done, finished, okay. So, but you ideally have to do it like every week or every 2 weeks, and the thing with all the technology, it's also editing. There's the possibilities are endless. You could work on a video for 3 days, but then you'd never make another video again. So the challenge is really to keep it simple for yourself,
Okay.
to work in a way that can let you make a video in an hour or two at the most.
So what I'm hearing you say is you've got to get a system down. You've got to get a system down. And do you, and this is something I, in my work as content creation, whether it's video or blogging, I do a lot of batching of content. And I heard when you and I were trying to plan this, you were like, oh, Wednesday is, or whatever day you had, I'm creating a bunch of videos. You were doing them all in one day, right? So I'm assuming you do that as well. You batch content creation and probably editing and some of that.
Well, I tomorrow there has to be another video, and I didn't have one, and I sort of this week I thought, shall I skip? But I don't like skipping a week because I also enjoy making them, and I'm always, well, like a proud little kid, like, oh, I've got a new video. And I this morning I wrote a script in 20 minutes, and I went out to film it right here in this little grass yard. And it took me 10 minutes, and I will be editing it later on. So I don't always batch, but I always wish I had batched.
Okay. And
Yes.
if you're watching this, one of the tips for, doing a podcast over and over, because I have guests, and Elisabeth, you can attest to that. I am booking mine into September now, right? So I'm booking like 3-4 months ahead, because that's my safety. Like that's my fallback. So if I have these already created, if I'm working ahead, then I'm consistent every week. So I just read something on LinkedIn about one of the, somebody was, I think it was Sesame Street. Sesame Street is really successful on TikTok. And somebody was kind of doing a case study on them, why and how and what kind of content they were producing. But the one tip that stuck with me was before they posted the first clip, they had already produced 40 of them. Now, that's scary to me because what if the first 10 are wrong and you've done it wrong? You created all this strategy and created all this content, and your audience is not necessarily liking it. Now you have 30 others that you're supposed to post. So that's a little bit of to me, that's a little scary thing. But I guess if you have a big budget like Sesame Street, then, maybe you can do that. For me, I don't want to be too far ahead because I want to be able to, jump on trending topics and make sure I have guests that have something to say that's going on this month or next month. So you have to find that balance. So let's get back to visibility. So the last stumbling block is, so we had, oh my gosh, now I lost my train of thought. So new people. Yeah.
Resistance.
Yeah. And
C.
then the C was, I think, how do you keep going? Right. So the consistency was there. So now how do you increase your visibility? How do you move forward, and how do you stay, I guess, motivated even?
Yeah. Well, this is where it gets interesting because you start doing videos, and as entrepreneurs, we know a lot, and we try to share some knowledge where our future clients, what they're looking for. But we're not always sure what they are looking for. They themselves aren't even sure. So you start trying stuff like, oh, if I do a video about this, I get a lot of reactions. If I do a video about this, I get a lot of emails. What happens? And we try to find like the sweet spot where the stuff that I can share easily, that my future clients want to know right now. And looking for that sweet spot is what makes it so interesting. I
All
think
right.
that must be the same for every content creation.
It is. It is. Yeah,
And
because you want to make sure. Like last month, I was looking for a bunch of people to talk about AI.
yeah,
Right. And so I got one, and then I booked another one, and then I booked another one. So I have 4 episodes that are going to be about AI. But it's important because that's what my audience wants. But I didn't know that in January when I started booking people, because that wasn't a big thing until all of a sudden it was. So
yeah.
that makes sense. So let's talk about culture. It's, I'm from the Netherlands. You live in the Netherlands. You're Dutch. There's a saying in Dutch, and if you're from Europe or you know any Dutch people, you know this. One of the sayings we have is just be normal, that's crazy enough, and for those of you who've never heard me speak Dutch, it goes something like this. Doe maar normaal, dan doe je al gek genoeg. And being on video, when I started doing video right around maybe 8-10 years ago, when I started my business about 13 years ago, people in the Netherlands thought that was crazy. Why would you go on social media and create a video? So let's talk about that, because in the US, people on stage are bigger. Everything in the US is bigger. Everybody speaks bigger, does bigger. It's all flair and show. And the Dutch people aren't like that, are they?
Well, they're afraid to be seen like that, but once they do it, they actually enjoy it.
That's a good distinction. Yeah. So how do they get past that? How do you help people with that?
I help them by teaching them how to prepare. Because if you go in front of a camera, and then, well, Dutch people I don't know, it's in our culture, in the water, I don't know, we want to make ourselves small, and that's good.
Yeah.
Because nothing can go wrong, and
right.
Nobody can think anything of us. And the funny thing is, I used to be like that, of course, but I know America a bit, so that what I had some examples in America. I was watching Morin-van and Danielle Laporte and people like that, and I thought, well, why couldn't I do that? So, but yeah, people are afraid that they are. People think negative stuff about them. But I teach them, the first thing I teach them is most important, and that's why I almost never get any negativity at all, is that I make sure that every video I make is carrying something of value. I teach people very, very small, easy to remember lessons in my video. And I sort of see it as coming somewhere with a present. You don't go to a birthday empty-handed, and I don't go to YouTube empty-handed. I always have something to give.
That's a great tip right there. For those of you, let's say it again, Elisabeth. That is perfect.
Every video I make is a present to your target audience. And that helps in 2 ways. The first thing is with yourself, because you're like, oh, well, take it or leave it, people. I'm bringing something of value. If you don't like it, goodbye. So that makes for a totally different attitude. Instead of, oh, like me, you're like, here, there you go. And then the second one is some people will appreciate it, and the people who don't appreciate it, they will just leave, because, well, they're turning the present down, fine as well.
All right. So now you are teaching people how to get on video, and you're telling them about scripting and preparing. And then obviously you're teaching them how to be successful on YouTube. So how do you then up that visibility? Is that just by doing that, or are there any other special promotional things we need to know about? Tagging, SEO, there's probably a whole bunch of stuff, but if you want to give us like a couple of ideas, like if somebody's already doing videos, but their visibility is minimal, what is one thing they can do today to make a difference?
I would try to make videos out of the most obvious things, like the most asked questions.
Okay.
The stuff where you think, oh, everybody knows that already. And it's not true. So it's always, you have to get close to what people are looking for. and answer just the really, really simple questions. I think that's the way. And then if people see it in a video, they're like, oh, I know this person already. So that's the extra value.
Okay.
So if you don't have enough visibility, I would think make more videos and make sure they are everywhere, not just on YouTube, but also on LinkedIn.
All right. That was going to be my next question. Where should we publish? Obviously on YouTube. I see your videos on LinkedIn as well. Of course, we're connected. So this is a question for you. Do you post the same video on YouTube as you post on LinkedIn?
And there's a subtle difference in the end of the video, because in the YouTube one, I'm like pointing at watch this video, and we can't do that in LinkedIn. So I have a different ending, but it's at 99% the same. Yes, but I'm not doing it on the same day.
Okay, that's a great tip.
Yeah, because YouTube actually would like, they want a lot of people there. So the first day, I published my video at 8:30 in the morning on a Thursday, and at the same minute, there's an email going through my whole email list, sending people to YouTube. What I do as well is I make a very short clip of that video, and I post that on LinkedIn, also on the same day, saying, there's a link in the comments, people, just watch the whole video. So it's like a little promo. And then maybe a week or 2 weeks later, I post the whole video on LinkedIn.
Okay, that's awesome. And it's the same audience, I'm assuming. So on YouTube, are you posting for your current community, or are you posting to grow your community?
The great thing about YouTube is that your videos end up with people you wouldn't normally know. Whereas LinkedIn is, well, it's a network. It's all about connection.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So there is, I think, when I started making weekly videos, I first posted them on Facebook and LinkedIn, and I used to have lots and lots of views, like 25,000 views for a video on LinkedIn. And then I posted the same video on YouTube, and I had 12 views. So I thought, well, YouTube isn't for me.
This is great insight, because I think we've all been there. We've all done this. Yeah.
Yeah. And then somebody approached me and he said, your videos are really good. How come you're so bad on YouTube? And I thought, oh, I've got to do something about this. And I got some lessons, and I followed some people, and I took some courses, and I realized a really big thing. And that was, the videos were okay, but I wasn't clear about what I was coming to bring. So they were more about me. Like, oh, look, I'm going to take a teacher course here, or something happening, or I'm doing shopping. And I think on people who already know you, they can appreciate that.
Right. Which is LinkedIn and Facebook.
Yeah. But then people who are like, who is she? I don't care if she's doing groceries. I want to know about this microphone. So I actually started changing my subjects and giving attention to the titles and the thumbnails and the CEO and everything. And it started going up right away.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I thought, well, I can't, these YouTube videos, the people on LinkedIn might not like them. But they did.
They did. Okay. Because they were ready for that next phase of types of videos. Interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you want to up 10 times your visibility, and you're not the only ones who says this, I've interviewed other people. YouTube is the second largest search engine. You should go put your videos there. That's where they should live. YouTube pays you. If you get enough followers, subscribers, if you get enough videos, YouTube will pay you. The truth is, TikTok, barely paying anything. Instagram, barely paying anything. All of the big content creators who get paid for creating videos are on YouTube. So let's talk very briefly about do you have both a Dutch and an English channel, Elisabeth?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are they connected somehow? Are they, they're
No.
separate?
They're separate from, even on separate email accounts, because I didn't want to well, for let's spread the risk.
Right.
So,
No, I think it's interesting because there's plenty of people who watch a show who live in the US but might be from Europe, or live in Europe and they might be from South America. There's a lot of people who speak multiple languages.
Yeah.
And so it is definitely a frequently asked question. Should I double post on social media? You know, what language should I? So I wanted to bring that up. I think that is very interesting. What so far, how long have you had the second channel, the English
since
one?
August.
Okay. So what are some takeaways that you can share with us? Because I think this is super interesting.
Well, to me, because there's people say, oh, you speak Dutch and do an English subtitles and stuff like that. But there's two things I want to share. The first one is people do not like channels in different languages because it's too much to cope with, really. And I found it surprisingly easy to record my videos in 2 languages.
Oh.
I thought that's going to be really tough. Maybe I have to get the frequency down to once every 2 weeks. But now, this afternoon, I shot 2 videos in 25 minutes. I write the script in Dutch because, well, that's my first language. Then I take it through DeepL, you know, the translation app. And of course, I have to change. DeepL is not very good with the Dutch humor.
I was going to say, I use Chat GPT for translation now, and it's really good. So try that. That's a free thing too. Yeah,
I will. So and then I print it out, and I've got 2 pieces of paper, and I just do it by like what you call them, a paragraph.
Yeah, segments, paragraphs. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do it. I change it around, and it's going really fast.
That's
and then,
awesome.
Because there's a script, you can just, all you have to do is just do it. And then all you have to do is exactly repeat the lines that are on the paper into the camera with a bit of feeling, of course. And then the whole editing is easy as well, because it's all been thought out beforehand.
All right. So before we go, what equipment do you use? Do you use your video camera, or do you use your smartphone? What do you use?
I've used my smartphone, my iPhone a lot, but now I own a Sony video camera, like a small vlogging camera.
Okay. How about microphone and selfie stick?
I mount it on a selfie stick, a bit of a longer one. And I love this one because it has little legs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you can put it on a table or so that's what I use, and I use a wireless microphone. Actually, that's a bit of luxury.
Yeah.
Do you know this one?
Yep.
The Rode wireless.
Yep. I have them too. Yeah. I have the older version, but I have those. Yeah.
This is the first as well, and I've got a lavalier microphone with it. So I don't have to carry this block on my.
Yeah.
That's what I use.
All right. Last question, Elisabeth. If somebody were going to invest time or money in one or the other, audio or video, audio, sound or sight, so camera or microphone, what do you recommend?
Always sound.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So, Elisabeth, how can people connect with you? Where can they find your YouTube channels? And remind everybody what the name of your business is so they can find you and look for you.
It is Top of Mind Video Marketing, because that's what we want, that place top of mind. So the website is topofmindvideomarketing.com. And, well, the YouTube channel is Top of Mind Video Marketing.
Okay.
Yes.
In English and in Dutch, it's the same, or? I
have a Dutch company name as well that I can tell.
I have some people that listen and watch us from the Netherlands. So,
the Video Vakvrouw.
A Video Vakvrouw. Okay.
But I couldn't translate that.
No. Awesome. Well, Elisabeth, thank you so much. If you're on social media, you want people to come to your YouTube channel, but I did hear you say you're active on LinkedIn. So go look for Elisabeth Griffioen on Instagram and on LinkedIn. Appreciate you being with us today. If you're watching this and you're already doing video, there were some incredible tips in here to 10x your visibility. Go ahead and try them out and make sure Elisabeth knows when they work. There's a couple of things that you said that I'm going to try. So I'm very, very excited. Thank you so much for those of you who were here live with us. If you watch this on the replay, thank you so much. And of course, as always, podcast listeners, we want to do a shout out. And thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end with us. I'll be back next week with another episode of Strategy Talks. Talk to you later. Bye, everybody.